Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Friday, December 3, 2021. The sun is in Sagittarius today. Sagittarius is often represented by an archer. I love the symbolism of the archer for Sagittarius because it bears with it the reminder that there are skills we can develop that work both to feed ourselves and to defend what we love. An archer's skills become so precise they are like an extension of the archer's own body. There's no target you can set for such a person that they will fail to meet. And with this in mind, Sun in Sagittarius is an excellent time for us all to begin to set our intentions for the new year. The moon begins in Scorpio today, making ingress to Sagittarius early this morning. This represents another shift in the heart and home from fixed water vibes to mutable fire. From focused concentration on the task at hand to turning that focus outward and seeing the bigger goal. The new moon phase energy of this moon invites us to begin setting intentions. When doing this, it's important to ask ourselves, what inspires me? What motivates me to act? Sun and moon in Sagittarius together. This makes it a great time to get in touch with the source of fire that burns in our hearts. Set intentions. I'll put a couple little fiery flames here. Okay, let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. I have prepared a legend of the symbols we'll be looking at today so that we can start with an idea of some of the energies at play. First and foremost, always the top of the list is the sun. The sun represents our outer life. This is who we are when we step out the door, the person that people get to know when they first meet us. And also how we engage in our social, work, and civic spheres. Next on the list we have the moon, and the moon represents our inner life. This is really more about our relationship with ourselves, our emotions, our intuitions, what we know, and also how we engage in our domestic sphere at home with those people we live with and in the space we live in. Uranus represents doing things differently and so often brings about a lot of changes. Saturn represents the structures that we take on the responsibility to maintain in order to just maintain the way we like to live. Those things that are important to us. Chiron represents how to heal. Venus is about love and money. Or in other words, how do you relate to those people and things that you value the most? And Neptune is more about the human spirit, or how do you relate to the human collective? As for aspect energies, this ingress is a sign of transition. It shows us when a planetary body is moving from one sign into the next. In this case, that's the moon moving out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. This energy is a quincunx. That's a variable outcome. You see it looks a little bit like a teeter-totter. And basically what it says is these two may interact in such a way that you feel an impulse or you feel a certain drive or energy, but you know the impulse isn't guaranteed a good outcome or a bad one. We just don't know what'll happen. Sextile is a positive energy. These energies are going to cooperate together to generate something good in your life. And conjunct amplifies the energy of both planets. So the effects of both planets are more powerful in our lives. And with all of that said, let me not forget, signs of mention on the board today, Sagittarius and Scorpio, but mostly Sagittarius. Oh, I see Pisces down here too. Pisces is with the first quarter moon next week. All right. I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our nights and on our inner life. It sets the tone for our emotional experiences and our domestic relations. The moon moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may produce moods and other internal experiences for us throughout the course of the day. The sun sheds light on our days. And I address the rest of the planets on this side because these aspects take longer and they have more of an impact on our actions and interactions out in the world. We will start with the moon today. Central Standard Time, friends. Well, I picked up the pink one, so I'm going to use the pink one. 6:12 a.m. this morning, the moon made ingress into Sagittarius. Moon in Sagittarius fires our imagination and gets us moving toward our goals. We're assertive and honest with ourselves and others, and though we may lack some tact at this time, we make up for it with charm and perspective. This aspect lasts 2.5 days. Double fire sign. Trouble, friends, because, and I don't mean trouble like in a bad way, but just remember, sun and moon both in Sagittarius. So if we're feeling a little impatient, a little fired up, sit with it. Ask yourself, what is it that fires you up so that you can set intentions and make good plans? Okay, and then in the evening at 6:45 p.m., the moon, it runs sextile to Saturn. So this is the aspect for practical care. We feel protective of our feelings, we feel protective of our homes and our loved ones, and we show it by providing nourishment and physical comfort. 2 hours to set the tone for the evening, right? Practical self-care and care of others. Sure, why not? Otters in the heart and home. Please don't bring any otters home with you. Just take care of the other people that are with you. So today's lunar energy signature is one of activity, active pursuit of our goals, and active support of ourselves and our domestic sphere. As for the sun side of the page and the ongoing column, we're still looking at and talking about Saturn sextile Chiron until the 10th. Please check your birth chart and find the natal placement of Chiron. Now, it might not be in your regular free birth chart that you got. You might have to go to a Chiron placement calculator. I think that's a search term you could use, Chiron placement calculator, or just Chiron table, because Chiron stays in, it takes like 50 years for Chiron to run through all of the signs, so it stays in each sign for a few years. And the reason you want to know where Chiron is in your birth chart is because you want to know what it is that you're working on in this life to heal from. For example, my Chiron placement is in Aries, and people with their Chiron in Aries really spend their lives dealing with the questions of their personal identity and how they fit into the larger community. So since I know that about myself, and I know that about a bunch of people who were born around the same time, then I can also ask myself, well, what have I learned about my personal identity and my sense of belonging out in the world? And I take what I have learned. This is our practical magic opportunity during this aspect. I take what I learned from healing my relationship with the community and my relationship with myself. And I'm able to apply that to supportive groups, which means just bringing my wisdom, not in a way that's like pedantic, not in a way that it's like, well, let me tell you what you need to know about this kind of thing. It's really just like, I'm going to come in, I've done that healing, I know it, and so because I'm aware of it, I get to be myself in a certain space, and that really communicates what I know about fitting in and about my relationship with myself. Sometimes you feel like you've learned something, you got to go tell everybody about it. But really, if you've taken something in to your heart, it is expressed through your demeanor. So use the wisdom from your healing. Understand the wisdom that you have gained from your healing so that you can apply it, in your relationship with yourself and to your supportive groups. So if you're married, that's, one supportive group you're in. If you have a family, that's one supportive group you're in. If you have a workplace, then the people you work with are a supportive group. If you live in a town, that's a supportive group. You just apply it to the people in your neighborhood, right? Okay, I'm not going to sing that song to you, but you're welcome. And today is day 4 of 4 for the sexy Venus sextile Neptune aspect. Under this aspect, we have been a lot more sensitive and sensual than usual. This has been a good time to sort of luxuriate and indulge ourselves. We make a palace of our home, make a palace of your bedroom, make a palace of your body, and just feel glorious and glowing. Our sexual activities are blessed here, and the partners we attract will be the tender and loving kind. So I hope you've taken advantage of that energy, but, allow it to set the tone for your December or your Sagittarius sun, or however long you want to. As for today, at 9:14 in the morning, the sun moves quincunx to Uranus. So sometimes our anxieties make us impatient and erratic. Our pace becomes disrupted, and that can be challenging. Since this aspect affects everyone a little differently, we may find ourselves in situations where it's hard to guess where someone is coming from or what they might do. Let's try not to burn any bridges under this influence. It only lasts about 1 day. Let's see. Erratic timing. Burn no bridges. Unless you've been standing at the end of that bridge with a torch for 2 months already, and today's the day, and you're like, well, what the hell? I said I was going to burn this bridge. Otherwise, wait till you can practice better timing, because under this influence, it might be a little bit difficult to practice good timing. And then around the bend on the clock at 1:43 Saturday morning, the sun will make conjunct with the moon. This aspect really indicates the moment the new moon is complete, and this is a moment of transition. Before the new moon, the moon is waning, and the energy was one of endings, decreasing and letting go. After the moon will be waxing, and this is an energy of beginnings, increasing and taking on what's new. Symbolically, sun conjunct moon tells us that we're more powerful both in our outer life and our inner life. And so this is the time to set forth those best intentions as we enter a new phase of growth. Coming up next week, we will see a first quarter moon in Pisces next Friday, which will encourage us to act on the plans we are currently making with compassion and creativity as our guides. And that's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Friday, December 3, 2021. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And if you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up here for about 30 seconds so that you may have time to peruse it. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.